it's a cause that we should all fight for. It's dreading, it's killing us. I mean, it stings the soul. Sometimes I wonder, are they just human beings or what? Or that they are sick? Because when you're having sexual intercourse without consent, is it that you're sick or your wickedness is down to nothing? I just don't understand. So I have with me Barrister Mrs. Tayo Okere. She's a child activist, the legal counsel. She's been treating these cases for the past how many years that I can understand. So Tayo, please, you're welcome to the session, please. Mrs. Okere.
Thank you. Thank you.
So on the other side, I have a very wonderful young child activist, Tochukwu Onyechi. She's a lecturer with the University of Nigeria, and so a senior lecturer with the Economics department, and she's also at the forefront of this. So Tochukwu, please say welcome to the audience. Tochukwu.
Good evening.
Good evening, dear. Good evening. So I'll just dive straight to you, Tochukwu. It's been about rape. The topic has been going around. It's like a stigma now. It's a virus that entered. Even yesterday, there's another one that happened yesterday, and the lady just died. So in your own term, having seen all this, what would you say that rape is? What is your definition of rape, if I may ask? So, Tochukwu.
Okay, rape is a type of sexual abuse, which happens when an individual, a man or a woman, decides to engage in sexual activity or sexual intercourse with another person without either by use of physical force, coercion, or abuse of authority. But then, for a child, you do not need to bring in the issue of consent, because the principle of Convention on the Rights of the Children, one of the principles specifies that the best interest of the child should be considered. So for a child who is raped or who is enticed into having a sexual activity with an adult, the issue of consent doesn't even come in at all. At that point, the child doesn't really know what is good for him or her. So an adult can't categorically claim that he had consent, the minor, in order to engage in such kind of sexual activity. So let me say that when we talk about rape, whether it has to do with an adult or whether it has to do with a child, it just borders on having a valid consent, not having a valid consent from the individual in question, from the victim. To be incapacitated or
There's noise from the background. Who is that? Please, can you mute yourself, please? Oh. Juliet, please, can you mute yourself, Juliet? Thank you. Sorry about that, Tochukwu. Tochukwu.
Problem. So when we talk about rape, whether it happens to an adult or a child, it's done without a valid consent from that individual. For instance, the person could be incapacitated, the person could be mentally unstable, or the person could be disabled. So once a valid consent is not gotten from an individual before a sexual activity is engaged in, is considered to be rape. But for a minor or a child, the issue of consent shouldn't even come in, because the child is not in the best interest of the child to engage in sexual activity, and the child there within is between the.
Okay, thank you so much, Tochukwu, for that review. The voice was wobbling a bit, but maybe when you can find out where we can have it, should be more audible. So I'll move over to you, Tayo. Tayo, as from your legal background as a lawyer, I mean, we have seen so much in this circle. We know that rape is a criminal offense, and the punishment of the rape, as even prescribed by the law, should be a life imprisonment. But there's also a tweak to it, because rape is one of those offenses that is difficult to prove. You know, there are some boycotters, people, even when they are convinced at a point, because of the higher might, you tend to find some of the reduced sentences that they give them. So what is your take on that, coming from the legal background and the experience that you've had over the years? Tayo, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just go as to what rape is all about. I'll define rape. Rape is actually a sexual offense. So it's not standing alone. It's among, we have like 5 sexual offenses. So rape is one of them. But rape is the main one that everybody talks about from time to time. Well, among the sexual offenses, we have sexual assault, we have sexual harassment, we have bestiality, we have abduction. But we'll go to rape, because rape looks to be the highest one of it. According to section 268 of a criminal law of Lagos State, rape is defined as where any man who has unlawful sexual intercourse with a woman or girl without their consent, and that person is guilty of offense of rape, and that is liable to life imprisonment, life. So a woman or girl who does not give consent. So what are the ingredients of rape? There are 2 ingredients: is consent. Consent is one of the main ingredients of rape, and slightest penetration. Those are the 2 ingredients of rape. But we can say, how many people are able to prove it? How are we able to prove this with what is happening? Because as you have said, many people, the perpetrator, the rapist, they are always, when it happens, their parents or their family members are already there. They want to see how to pervert judgment. So on the rape is life imprisonment, but attempted rape, that is 14 years imprisonment. Sexual intercourse between a man and a woman who are married, under the law, under our law, under Lagos State criminal law, says is not rape. But that is another cause. That is another big question of its own, because it's actually in another law, ACJ. It's because once that consent is not gotten, it is actually rape. But let's leave it, because if we delve into that, we are going to really go through it. We take the whole of these sessions, so don't let us go into it. So they say punishment for sexual assault by penetration through anywhere, sexually the anus, the vagina of another person without his or her consent, is guilty of an offense and liable to life imprisonment. So anybody who attempts to commit the offense of rape or sexual assault by penetration is guilty of felony and is liable to imprisonment for 14 years. Any person who sexually touches another person without his consent is guilty of a felony and liable to imprisonment for 3 years. The touching in this context could be any part of the body. So that is attempt. This one is 3 years. It could be anywhere, as long as you are not getting the consent of that person. Sexual harassment punishment is 3 years. So any person who causes another to engage in a sexual activity without that other person's consent is liable to 5 years imprisonment. That is, you are aiding and abetting. You causes that person, because sometimes we go through rape. You will say because the person has agreed. When you enter into that without maybe under threat, under undue influence, oh, I'm going to kill you, and the person surrender. That does not mean that the person has actually surrendered to you. You have actually forced that person. If this can be proven, that person is 5 years imprisonment. So we can go to offenses against morality. That is where the child zone is come to. Indecent practices, defilement of a child, household permitting, abduction, keeping a brothel while a child is, supplying drugs and instruments to procure abortion. Those fall under offenses against morality. So don't let me, I think Tochi is going to deal with the deferment, with the one about childhood. I'm dealing with rape proper. But deferment of a child is happening so much too. That one is taken care under section 137 of the criminal law of Lagos State. It says that any person who has unlawful sexual intercourse with a child is guilty of felony and is liable to imprisonment for life. So we are now asking, how are people able to prove that? It's rape, as we are talking about it, look like is a new thing. Rape is a universal thing. It's not just happening. But we thank God for the social media that is now bringing it. If you look at it, the study shows that 1 out of, in the world where we are, once that happens, even the parents, they are the one that will tell you, do not do that. And at the end of the day, if the judgment is gotten, you see high and mighty, they'll still go to the prison, exchange their person with another, as because anything is capable, anything can happen, anything is possible. So rape to me has always been, it has been a universal thing. It's not that it's happening alone in Nigeria. It has always been happening. But now the ability for us to speak up, the enlightenment is what is now here now that we are talking about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Okere, for that. I mean, I totally agree with you. It's not like it's a new case. It's been happening all over the world, and we know. The challenge that we are facing is that menace that people don't really want to speak up. The laws, I mean, everybody, no matter how big you think you are, down to even the parents of a rape victim, you find out that the society feels it's an ill to talk about that. And that takes me straight to Tochi. Tochi, I know you're a child activist, and I saw in your post, I mean, a few days ago, things about children. You know, there was a discussion around, is it because of the way the girl dresses? Is it in the sense that the girl follows, maybe like a 2-year-old child, you see that he's identified with this uncle and he's always following this uncle? What is that issue that people try to justify rape? Can rape actually be justified? Does it mean that a child that dresses somehow is prone to rape? What is your take on how the society sees dressing, attitude, relationship, association as regards to justification for rape? Tochi?
Well, when it comes to justification for rape, I think there's no moral justification for rape. Rape is a violation, is a sexual violation, and then one can't just possibly say there's a justification for it, even if the victim happens to be maybe indecently dressed. It doesn't justify the actions of the abuser. So in this case now, for the post I made on our page regarding a child, a 5-year-old who was indecently dressed, we could classify that as moves that trigger sexual exploitation. When we talk about sexual exploitation, is now talking about where an adult then desires to achieve or get sexual gratification, or maybe financial aid or advancement through abusing or exploiting a child's sexuality. But in this case now, when a child is indecently dressed, is an exposure. It's calling, most times it calls for sexual exploitations. So most of the kids who are indecently exposed, or maybe made to watch pornography, or maybe made to behave in a sexually inappropriate manner, at risk of being sexually abused, because they have been exposed, their sexuality have been exposed, they have been made to be vulnerable. But then that is not just a justification for rape, because sometimes rape happens maybe due to psychological disorder that the abusers are suffering, or maybe mental issues. For instance, psychologically, sometimes we hear about retrospective stimulus, or maybe spontaneous stimulus effect. When we talk about spontaneous stimulus effect, it talks about an individual being moved to engage in sexual activity due to on-point exposure to maybe sexual products. Maybe the person is watching a pornography, and then in order to practice what he or she is watching, the person is moved to look around his or her environment to scout for maybe a minor who probably may not be categorically classified as having given consent. And then we could also talk about that retrospective aspect happens when the individual, the behavior is triggered by actions that happened in the past. Maybe the abuser may have been exposed to such kind of, maybe have been raped in the past, and the person maybe thinks about it and then moves and begins to think of a way to, satisfy his or her sexual urge. I would also talk about fantasy stimulus effect, where the individual fantasizes these things and decides to maybe practice it with whoever is available. And when it especially has to do with a child, any sexual activity involving a child is rape. We can't talk about issue of consent here, because talking about legal age for consent, of course, the Convention on the Right of the Children specifies that the age of consent for a child is 18 years. So once a child is not up to 18 years, the person cannot be said to have given consent to engage in sexual activities. And then also, we can also look at the vicissitude effect, where the individual is being affected by issues around him, or maybe depression, anxieties that the individual may have suffered in the past. So those things just triggers hormones in the person's body and then makes the person to behave in such sexually immoral ways. But then those are not justifications for rape. We can't just possibly say that those things are, because those things are psychologically, or maybe they are mentally induced, that the individual, if the abuser, can go on and engage in them. So for me, I wouldn't say there's no justification for rape, especially when it has to do with a minor. And it has to do with the minor, because the child doesn't even understand what's happening. The child is probably unaware of what's going on, is confused at that stage, doesn't even understand what sexuality is all about, especially a child who has never been exposed to sex education. For instance, between the ages of 10 to 13, I was sexually abused by neighbors around. They call you my wife, and then you feel comfortable around them, especially going in a neighborhood that is not a so rich neighborhood. So, parents within that environment, then we still have to talk about the socioeconomic status of a household as a causative factor, or a factor as one of the risk factors that exposes children. You move around, parents don't even, check where you're going those days, You just go into the person's house as a neighbor, you're free with them, and then you get abused. You touch your body parts, and then to you it's normal because you've never been taught, you've never had all those things. So I experienced it, and I know the feeling is, because one, you don't even understand what's going on. You can't possibly say no for reasons I can't even tell up to now, because at that point you can't really say, okay, don't touch me, or maybe, in fact, you're just at that stage of confusion where you do not even understand what's going on. You understand? And then when an adult does that to a child, I think there's no moral justification, because at that point, the adult should understand that this child doesn't know anything. And it's not in the best interest of the child to be exposed to such kind of violence, because it has a lot of emotional and psychological effect on the child. Maybe the child begins to think about sexual issues, maybe issues of sex. The child maybe at different times begin to fantasize a lot of things in his or her mind. So these are issues we need to, look into. There's no justification. And then this pervert due to the issues that the kids don't get to talk about it, they don't get to report to anybody, and then this pervert feel the child enjoys it. Whenever you come around them, they still go back and take you back to whatever thing they have been doing to you, because they feel you've never spoken, you've not spoken out, and then it shows maybe it's either you enjoy it or maybe, so they feel maybe once you come around, it's because you want to get touched, So I feel it's evil, and these are things, in fact, there's no justification for it. Thank you.
Exactly. For me, there's no justification for rape at all, especially when it comes to a child. And based on what you just said now, it takes me down to that feeling that mothers, parents, sisters, actually the bigger ones, they have a lot of work to do. We need that advocacy to continuously imbibe those cultures, those young ones, because honestly, it could be depression. most rape victims don't even understand the implication of what they are doing. They don't even understand that it's a crime, it's affecting you. I have a friend that had that issue, and up till now, she's still unmarried. She moved to UK, but the effects of that violation, she can't even imagine somebody touching her. She can't even imagine having any penetration inside her because she feels she's so insecure. Okay, so I think that we should drive that effect in the sense that parents that are here, sisters, whether you're young, your grandma, your great-grandma, there's that ownership that we need to take up. Take that ownership that have the responsibility to heal the world, to make the world free from all those vices, to enlighten the young ones. How do we even educate them? How do we talk to them to understand that this is this? Pornography is on the increase. I mean, that's one of the vices of social media. How do we even, how many of us try to find out, yes, what are my children looking through? Do you know what they are? Well, you could be sitting with them, lying with them, and they are watching some stupid things, and you're just laughing about it, okay? Even the television, how do we guarantee that what they are watching when we are there and when they are not there, it's what is right? So, Taya, I'll move straight to you. There's this perception that, people don't want to talk about rape. Communicating things about rape is a problem. Even when you're raped, you don't even want to speak about it. People don't even want to, you can imagine if it's about money, now people don't even want to, to hear that discussion. It's like it's a taboo. People are poor talking about this, and every day it's on the increase. The truth is that we are just seeing this because of social media. A lot is happening. Let's not even go into incest. Children, siblings having carnal knowledge of each other under their mother's roof, and nobody would know. And then we just said, oh, it's just about it. They are playing, they are singing, it's just your brother. How do we go about that? So from your own understanding, I know you've been talking about it, you've been advocating that. What would you say? You can even share the recent one that just happened. It's so sad about a 2-year-old child that was raped, and nobody even wants to say anything. Tayo, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you so much. The reason why rape is not being, the awareness is just coming out now, is the stigmatization. Nobody wants to talk about it. The parents don't want to talk about it. The threat will be there. And in your home, when that happens, another problem is because we don't open up to our children, we don't open up that communication, we don't talk to them. So when those things happen, we are too tired to listen to them. We are too preoccupied with other things. So when they look at us, how do people get victimized? How do you become a prey to them? It's when they see there is no love in our home. So when you are talking, your children is trying to talk to you, you are not listening. You are too busy to answer them. Then when that happens, a little thing, your children, they are watching your body language. They're like, if I dare tell this one to my mom, I'm dead. Even the mother and the father, they cannot discuss it. We are always afraid. What will happen? What will neighbor says? What will this happen? That's one. Recently just happened. The 18-year-old, she got raped. And, with this awareness, she said, okay, I know my rights. She went straight to the police station. When she got there and she reported that, see, I just got raped. The only thing the policewoman she met at the counter, like, is it not you that caused it? The woman already canvassing for the offender. The person wasn't there. What did you go and do there? How will you say you got raped? Maybe you demanded money. Right there, where she feels she could get justice right there. And there she was being victimized even there. So how do you think anybody wants to go there? That's one. Too. During this lockdown in Lagos Island, a 2-year-old girl was raped. And the only thing the mother could say, the mother didn't know. It was like a neighbor that saw the child, and the child was bleeding. And they told the mother that, they asked the child, what happened to you? And the child said, sorry, and that is one uncle. And they took the child to the mother. And what the mother could say that is the girl's fault. It's her fault because she has already told the girl not to be following that man. It's because he's always following that person. That is the reason why she was at 2 years old. What do you think will happen? And the man, that is the reason why we are even giving them the rapists more power, because they know that okay, they can actually go scot-free, nothing will happen. The other one that happened too, the Timileyin, I posted it. The Timileyin girl, she's 13. She has been helping the person that raped her, unfortunately led to death. The person that raped her, she has been helping the man to go and, okay, let me fetch water, help me get this. That particular day, Lord the girl and raped her. Because in self-defense, the girl got a knife and stabbed the man. At the end of the day, the man died. And thank God, the magistrate, like, in self-defense. It was last week, when the girl was set free. So stigmatization, lack of love, those are the things that will not make us get judgment. And please, another thing I want to say, it's not only girls that are being raped, boys too are being raped. So only that the focus most time is on, most time on girl child. The boys too are being raped by grown-up ladies, even by themselves. Let's say the lady, you employed a nanny in your house. All those nannies, especially sometimes, those grown nannies that they have left their husband for some time, they will be friendly with the boys' private part. Come and sleep on my head, on me, come and lie on me. They will be grooming those children. And when we see sometimes, we don't even say anything. So what we don't want, we have to be intentional about it. We start teaching our children from tender age. Tell them, don't sit on any uncle's lap. Do not. And when you see it, you are there. You want that uncle right there. So when they know that it's not what you are going to like, they know they will never do it. And you show them plenty love, and show the children plenty love. On Friday, I was in a program, and they happened to invite a DPO to that program. Why he said so many things about rape, the DPO said so many things about, but the one, I was shocked when he was finishing and said that the people that got raped are those ones that they like to eat shawarma. They dress somehow. I was like, even you were able to say that. You that's supposed to know better. I said, yes, those are the people from his experience. Those are the people. Is that the justification that somebody should get raped? Another thing is, when it happened, even the victim, you are not ready to come out to give an evidence. And the court, they work with evidence. Without evidence, nothing will happen. You are not going to, there's nothing they can do. They cannot manufacture facts for you. They cannot manufacture evidence for you. So now, this point I'm saying, when you're a victim of rape, what will you do? Immediately that thing happen. I don't know, maybe am I going beyond the scope of the question?
No, you can, it's okay. You can.
When it happens, okay, when it happens, don't have the bath, don't get raped, don't have your bath, immediately just go with everything, go to the hospital. It's not police station. The first place you go is hospital. You go straight to the hospital, you get checked. You know, the emotion is high, you are tense, so many things is happening. You need where to cool off. Really, because in case if the rapist use condom, get hold of that condom if you can. Get it. Because that's the reason why they go scot-free, because we don't have enough evidence to prosecute them. And as I said, the courts, they are not angels. They are not spirits. They will not know what has happened. It's what you present that's going to help them to adjudicate over that matter. So what you would do, you hold everything, because the DNA, you must have been struggling. That person is all over your body. So your cloth is a good one as an example. Get tested, then go. Now, there is a place in Lagos State, Mirabel Center, is in Luth. It's in Ikeja, not Luth. It's in, they are partnering with Lagos State. They have their numbers. They can, even if you don't have money, they partner with Lagos State. If you don't have money, we are going to share the number. You call them immediately. Then you go and they are ready to do tests for you, for that person, free of charge, all the tests, and they will now counsel the person very well. This is in conjunction with Lagos State. And another thing, Lagos State, they are doing a lot. They have a court, special offences court in Ikeja, that when it happens, only that now the rape, they are convicting plenty people, the rapists, especially when it comes to children. And you know, we said that when judgment is delayed, is judgment denied. They go, well, not to get the judgment delayed. Once you report it, they get all the facts, but what should we do? The witness should come forward, because people around too, I don't want to be associated with this one. And even till when you grow, people will still be telling you that that girl was raped at one time, as if it's your fault. It is not your fault that you are raped. And that time when we're growing up too, I was telling my children that I can even think I've been raped before. But can you tell your parents? Because immediately when you're in the house, you wear something, they tell you that you're not wearing well, that they are still going to rape you. So if something happened to you, is it the house that a little thing you complain to them, they already hush you down. So that is the reason why they will go, the rapists will continue to go scot-free. But with this kind of awareness, we keep on telling people, you know you're right, do this. We keep all those evidence you have. I hope that we are going to get there. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Tayo. I'll stop now because there's a question on the chat box. Somebody said, Mrs. Grace said, my children are asking and doubting how a 2-year-old girl can be raped. They are asking, can a 2-year-old child even talk well? Please highlight. Should you take that question, Tayo, or Tochi?
Okay, yes. We have, let me answer it. We have heard where a 7-month-old baby, I read it, was raped. So how do they know? So for a 7-month-old, that 7-month-old child was actually raped by her father. And then people was asking, what enticed him? Is it the diaper that the girl was wearing or what? It's very, very possible. There's nothing that is possible. I'm trying to locate where that woman is in Lagos Island so that I can ask. This one, it's an essay, but I've read where 7-month-old child, 3 weeks old child has been fondling with blood. How would they know? Because you're just going to, you know, like she said, Onya said, that thing is a psychological thing. They will just come to you. And because of somebody that is giving you sweets, has been giving you, you know, yeah, they've already groomed you. They've groomed that child because they are showing unnecessary affection to the child. So when they say, okay, this child come, then in the course of doing it, you know, it's entering their head, they are penetrating. The person saw how the girl was walking, apparently, and called the girl and saw bruises, blood coming out. It was at that point, it was like, okay, and ask the girl, you go and tell you what happened to you, that uncle. You talk. There's some children that talk as early as that. They can tell you what happened to you, and they will know because they are children. They will point out to where. They will point out to who, because the mother was saying, I know that happened. I know she's always following that person. So the mother too said so. I know that will happen to her because she's always following that uncle. Because it's always so the child that has been, you know, the man has already gotten, he has groomed her, made affection for her in one way or the other. So the girl is always, everybody will notice that this uncle, you know, the way we see it is that this uncle, this girl like this uncle. It's fun of her. That's what we'll be saying. If it's fun of her, it's fun of her. That is the reason that will happen. It happened during this holiday, during this lockdown. It happened. 7-month-old child, we have read it, even if we have not seen it. So it's very, very possible.
Thank you very much, Tayo. I mean, it's possible. I've even witnessed one during a social media. That one is even hackers, but it didn't happen here in Nigeria. It was somewhere else. During a meeting like this, some hackers just posted that you were watching a live video of, I'm sure the person will be almost like 20, and the little baby less than 2 years, the baby was crying, and this is not just social media, it was happening. So it happens. It happens. It boils down to that fact that the way we disassociate ourselves with conversations around rape is still a problem. I mean, it's high time that we encourage the victims. You encourage our daughters, our siblings, our sisters, not just that it mustn't be your daughter, it could be a friend next door, you know, to talk. It's killing. The psychological effect is just something else. So
There's another question here. Somebody was like, what evidence can someone that is raped?
If it's always their words against each other. Yes, I mean, you mentioned about that while you were talking, but you can still talk about it.
Yes, that's what we are now said now. The evidence is the reason why, you know, it's life imprisonment, but how many people has gotten that life imprisonment? Because it's very hard to prove. So that's the reason why the Lagos State has come up with, immediately you are raped, don't have your back, because the person must have refunded you. So leave that your clothes. The DNA, they can do it in there. So leave your clothes. That is an evidence. That's the reason why somebody like Timi Dakolo, the Timi Dakolo's wife, Busola, cannot succeed, because it's happened like 20-something years ago. All the evidence she has been destroyed. And I think because they say it's penetration. So penetration is when you go to the hospital. That is the reason. That is when you can actually, they can examine you and confirm that, okay, there is a form of forced penetration in you. So if you don't do all this one, so what will you use? So yes, is their word against us. That's true. But now, do not have your bath. Carry that your clothes as an evidence. Keep it. Go to the hospital. Get tested. That is number one. Before you get to the police station. Yes, you go to the police station, but the first place you will go is hospital. Get tested. Keep your clothes. Keep your pants. Keep everything that you know that it will be. If you can have that person condom, if you use condom, keep it too. Because by the time they conduct all these tests, it will link up to that person.
That's if the person used condom at all.
Yes.
Because they don't even believe in that.
And they don't believe.
So I love what Lagos State is doing, and it's good that Lagos State is even championing this. But other states, I know I have people from Enugu, Rivers, Ogun that are here. And I believe that everybody that is in this room, you're here because you're very passionate about this advocacy. So it's not just our normal, let's just discuss rape. It's about the fact that we should have that sense of ownership. We should try to champion this cause. Just take it back and say, if it's me, if it's my sister, if it's my daughter, if it's my granddaughter, if it's my relation, even if it's your church member, what do you think you would do? So it's a responsibility that we will take. I'm also seeing some children inside this place. And for a child that is here and you're listening, what I can say is, you also need to find out when you start having that urge. Like Tochi said, it could be depression. It could be depression because you're depressed. How well do you know yourself? How well do you know when those body changes start coming and you feel that something is happening around you? How well do you, when you start feeling, have a kind of feeling for your sibling, for your relation that is in the house, and you start developing one sort of feeling, it's good for you to talk to an adult. Cool. Even if it means that yes, everybody here, thankfully, we're all Christians. There are times that you call onto your God and say, God, please, I don't need this. But the best thing is talk to somebody that can help you understand that what you're doing is wrong. Find out whether you're sick. Try and tell yourself that, well, this is not me, what is happening to me? Because the truth is that you're sick, especially the instant when you have that urge and you want to touch, that thing draws you to go and touch, then there's a problem. I mean, on this note, we've had so many people that have died, so many victims that have been raped, they are dead, they have psychological torture, they can't even afford to get married again, bruises, mental torture, suicide cases. Some have committed suicide because of being a rape victim. So it's a cause that we should all try and see how we can fight. So finally, I want to ask Tayo and Tochi, your take now before we open up for questions. What are those psychological issues? What are the resultant effects of rape? Both in the family, in the household, in the office. What do you think are those effects, the causative effects of rape? I want you to just share more light on that, please. Tochi, you go first, from the child aspect of it.
Okay, thank you so much. But before I move on to the question, I would like to make a little contribution to the question that was asked as to whether a child 2-year-old can be raped or sexually abused. I would say yes. Most 2-year-olds talk. I have a 2-year-old daughter. and at least she talks very well. And even before she clocked through, I started teaching them about sex education. While teaching the elder sister, I also, teach her. I try to carry her along. I teach her about her her private parts. I call the names. I tell her the front one is vagina, though she calls it gina. So, but then at least she understands. When she says that, at least I get a hint of what she's saying. And then I now told her that the back is bum bum. The reason is that to draw a clear distinction between the two, so that when a child tells you, if a child who doesn't know the difference tells you, "Mommy, this person touched my bum bum," you may not really know where was actually touched. But then if she says, "Mommy, this person touched my vagina," at least you know her genitals were fondled with. But then if she says, "This person touched my bum bum," at least maybe you know, maybe it was maybe a smack. But then after I weaned her, she was still drawn. I weaned her at about 15 months, but she was still drawn to breast. Most times she'll come, "Mommy, you should be touching my breast. She wants to touch my breast. She wants to, suckle my breast." And I said, telling her, "You're a big girl. You don't need all those things and all that." So, but then I had a house help. I employed a nanny who was between the ages of 19 to 20. Then within the first 3 days, she came to my house. Earlier on, I had been teaching my children that it's not good to touch somebody's breast, it's not good to touch somebody's vagina, it's not good to touch somebody's bum bum. I've been telling them those things, telling them just in a way, in the level, at least at their level, the much they can understand. So the lady came to my house, and then within the first 3 days, my little girl, who is used to at that point, touching breast, boobs and all that, went to her breast. She brought out the breast, gave it to my girl to suck. And then the elder one came, "Mommy, Ola, is sucking this person's breast." I took it out from there, and I addressed the issue, and then also taught them, enlightened them more. And I told her it's not good to do that. I kept telling her that, and then even now she's the one that now tells me, "Mommy, your breast is open, your breast is open." So these little girls, they learn a lot. Don't think maybe they are too tender to grasp these things. The little you can teach them, they will still understand, they will pick it, and they will grow with it. So tomorrow, if anybody touches her vagina or her breast or anything, she will still tell me out there, "Don't touch your breast, don't let anybody touch your breast." I teach them those things. That's why the fact that are still, so a 2-year-old can speak up, if the person is properly guided. At least you get a hint that this person is being abused by anybody. Even if sometimes she tell me, "Mommy, this person," she'll call her sister that she touched her bum bum. I'll say, "You touched her bum bum, don't do that, she's not good." So even she's now sees it that like nobody's I shouldn't even touch my genitals. And because sometimes it's not about somebody else touching your genitals. Most times these children could be exposed in such a way that they begin to touch themselves, and then they grow with it. Before you know what's happening, the children are being engaging in masturbation and all those sexual problems. So those are the issues. We need to teach them that they don't need to touch themselves. Nobody is permitted to touch them. Like, those things are not normal. They are not good. So despite the fact that they are still very young, as no matter the level, even if it's at 1 year old, once the person starts talking, you just have to keep teaching. You have to keep teaching. As the person is forgetting, you keep teaching. You make the person to grow with these things. So at the point they're growing, they're even now teaching other people around them, it's not good to do this. And I tell them, once anybody touches someone's bum, come and tell me. Sometimes, and when they tell me, when they report, I give them a handshake, I give them a high five, and I encourage them. I laugh with them, to show them that at least they did a good thing by reporting to me. Then most times I call whoever did that, separately. If he's an adult, like in the case I just explained earlier, I call the person separately, not in front of the kids, to address the issues, to tell the person not to ever do that, that is not good and all that. So these are the things we need to look into. Then talking about the risk factors, some of the risk factors that could make kids susceptible to rape, I would like to outline the issue of the structure of the family and household. Most times, children that come from households that are divorced, maybe parents who are having issues and then going for separation or divorce, are very vulnerable, because these children most times do not have been exposed to domestic violence. They see their parents either fighting, quarreling, and all those things affect children psychologically. Sometimes those children may begin to, experience internalized behavioral problems like anger, anxiety. They become anxious. They become, they begin to suffer such kind of, depression. So, but then, if these children are continually exposed to such kind of abuse, resulting from maybe the household structure, maybe a single parent, a mother, a woman who is divorced from the husband, of course, will at some point get frustrated, get depressed, and then the person automatically, most times, subconsciously transfers those aggression to the children. Because of course, maybe the person doesn't live with the husband anymore. Even as someone who has been exposed to, sex, sometimes the person will get sexually aroused, and maybe not having someone to satisfy her, gets frustrated, and those frustrations are meted on the children. And when those children suffer such kind of violence, they begin to withdraw from the mother or the father, whoever they're living with at that point. They feel they're not loved. They begin to seek emotional support outside. And then also due to the patriarchal system we have, especially in Nigeria, whereby traditionally, once there is a separation, the father goes for the children, and they feel the father owns the children. And most times, those children end up in the care of maybe caregivers, nannies, or grandparents who do not even know what it means to train up a child in this contemporary society. So these are issues we need to look at. The household structure plays a major role in exposing children to sexual abuse. Then we also look at the issue of the issue of the children who are without parental care. There are a lot of children who have lost their parents. They live on the streets. They are, or maybe in a child-headed household, maybe controlled, or maybe controlled by their elder siblings. For instance, I have a case where one of my friends 2 years ago, though she lives in the US now, she was working with a company, and then she was their marketing. She was doing a marketing job for them in Nsukka here. So she relocated from Lagos to Nsukka, and then she needed the help, at least to help her, watch over her little one. And then her mom called her that there was a girl in Lagos, and the girl said she wants to leave her environment, that she's not comfortable staying in that environment. But what was the problem? The girl had lost both parents and was living with the elder brother in a kiosk, all this a kiosk in Lagos, somewhere in Lagos. And then the elder brother had a girlfriend who was also cohabiting with them. So at night, in the presence of this girl, they have their sexual intercourse. So that child at that point is being exposed sexually. That's why the fact there was no physical contact, at least with her, but those things are sexual abuse to the child. So such kind of child who has been exposed to such kind of experience, of course, when approached by any adult, can easily give in can easily give in to such kind of pressure, maybe either enticement through gifts or whichever form, because they see it as a normal thing. If my brother in my presence can do this, there's nothing wrong with this. So these are the issues we face. Then increased internet access and then mobile phones. Most adults use that as a tool to exploit these children. Sometimes parents are not there to watch what's going on. Maybe kids between the ages of 10 to 17 years now have mobile phones. Yes, we are in internet age. People feel, yes, children need to come abreast of, become abreast with technology and all that. But then we need to how do we monitor what the children are doing online? Because of course, even sometimes as an adult, when you're on Facebook, you see porn sites popping up and placing their adverts. If it's a child, the child out of curiosity may try to click on those things to see what's all about. And then if the child, of course, anybody who sees a sexual product, a sexual activity going on becomes interested psychologically. There's no one who will see it and turn away. So if a child is seeing that for the first time, the first thing that comes to mind of the child is the curiosity. The child will want to know what's going on. Interest, it sparks the child interest. The person goes on from there, to move either to masturbation, or maybe to move to other forms of, or even if it's a male, the person can start looking for maybe minors around, to practice those things with. And then we can also look at the socioeconomic status of families, people who are living in poor neighborhoods at risk of being abused. Because sometimes these parents are not properly educated, and also they're exposed to poverty, so they take life easy. They see things as, and most times, for instance, when you consider people who live in all these, compounds where they live, communally, you'll discover that they feel, though they do not know those people, maybe based on maybe familiar connection, but they feel comfortable. He's my neighbor, and my child goes in there and comes out, and then most children get abused through that means. So these are issues we need to consider, because when we look at the effect of rape on children, the effects are so much. The effect are so much. When we talk about the physical damage that happens to that the children experience, then you talk about the health arising from maybe the sexual exposure to children, sexual transmitted diseases, and then most of these even girls suffer from fistula diseases. So these are issues we need to, they're even talking about the emotional and psychological effect it has on these children. Some of them get withdrawn, some of them become isolated, self-isolation, they go on self-isolation, they do not want to mix up with people. Some of them even feel that this abuse that is happening to them is their fault, that there's a problem with them, or maybe they feel, that these adults are just getting attracted to them, or they become uncomfortable with themselves, they lose their self-esteem, they can't even come out and talk to the public. And then when they come out, they feel like everybody knows their story. They feel everybody's aware they have been abused. So these are things that affect them. And it takes the grace of God to come out from such kind of trauma and such kind of depressive feelings. It affects children's education. It affects their learning. A child who has been abused is more likely to be drawn away from his or her academics. A child who has been raped most times do not even, because sometimes when they get their book to read, those pictures, those images, those things that have happened begin to flash back in their mind. So it's distracting and it causes a lot of distractions to them. So there are a whole lot of consequences of this abuse of sexual violence on children. And that is why we as adults, we need to begin to let these children get to know their rights, begin to let them know that any violation is not good. There's no form of violation, sexual violation against a child that is considered to be normal. So they need to understand that they need to speak up. And then we also, as adults, have to give them that support. We need to make them see us as that voice that they do not have. We need to make them see that we are there for them, that we can help them get justice at any point, at any level, And then also the issue of these children feeling like that when they speak up, they'll be stigmatized, or fear of retribution. Sometimes abuse could be interpersonal, happening maybe in settings like homes or in schools. And when this abuse happens, it occurs with family members, maybe with the parents or with the siblings, cousins, schoolmates, friends. And because this thing happens within the personal environment, these children do not speak up. Sometimes they are threatened. So any child who suffers sexual abuse is at risk of suffering multiple victimization, because most times the children could be threatened, or they could be beaten and told never to speak up, or they could be threatened with things like and as kids, they will not even understand that those threats are empty threats. So because they are still at the formative years of their development, their growth project are like the lower ebb of their development. So they do not even understand that those adults cannot even do those things. So they give in to fear. They can't speak up. Maybe their brother is telling them, if you tell mommy that I did this to you, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to do this to you. So they get threatened. A lot of other forms of victimization, and then those adults that sexually abuse children become aggressive towards them at every point, so that they do not speak up, because they feel if I allow her to be free, she may one day open up. So they make those children live in constant fear and make them feel like whenever you say this, I'm going to kill you. And then these children grow with this, and then it's a very big problem, affects their development. And then I know sometimes we hear about the women or men who feel they don't enjoy sex until they're tied to maybe a bed or tied to maybe a post, whatever. Then you begin to ask yourself, what makes the person desire such kind of sexual position? Possibly maybe the person have been raped in the past.
I will stop here, because at the back of the screen, we have families that have children all over at the back. So that one will be a subject for another day. Yes, you're seeing the faces of their mothers, but everybody, they have their children at the back listening. It's actually targeted again towards child. So that one would take it another day. That's what we discussed. So yes. So for mothers that are here, and I know that we have children at the back, please also allow them to speak. Allow them to talk if they want to share it. I mean, interestingly, Chiazo said is in, I want to read, he said, the problem mostly is that people blame the female for dressing indecently, but never blame the men for disrespecting her womanhood. And I like that coming from a 14-year-old. It's good that you're sharing your own opinion on that. And he also said in school, some male teachers get attracted to females, which may lead to sexual abuse, and they are threatened not to speak about it. Very good. I mean, this is very good coming from a child. And Tayo, I want you to speak to this one in school because it's becoming so common. We are seeing that one so common that teachers in the school try to violate the young girls in the school, and they will not be able to speak at all. So what would you say about that, and how can we drive that? Is it like in bringing up a curriculum or a social talk or something in the school that would address such actions coming from the communication angle of it? Okay, Tayo.
Okay. All right, thank you. I would say that when I read it, I was like, wow, this is what is happening. Then what of if from the first thing he mentioned about is they said is the woman that is not dressing well. Let's start from that angle. His orientation is already right. So this person that has written this, as long as he grows up, you would never see, you can never justify his action with indecent dressing. That, at least let's address that one. Very good. But this particular one, the second question, the second question that I brought up, if you get the communication from your children, no matter what it says, your child will come and tell you. This is where we are talking. This is where the communication comes in. You start. We said that from the age of awareness is 2 years old. From as little as your child, you've already told your child the proper name for their private body part. They know private body parts. They know public body part. They know they cannot even touch themselves anyhow. They know that when anybody touch them, when they are uncomfortable, they need to come and tell you. No, you have already assured them that you are ready to die for anybody that touch them wrongly or the way they don't like. The way you've already told them, anybody that touches you beyond your shoulder and you are uncomfortable, you know that that is a bad touch. You tell them the reason, bad touch and the good touch. As long from the childhood, you already instill to them, they know what there is no words, nothing any teacher will tell them that they will. You told them that nobody can kill you. Look, you cannot die. Anybody that tells you don't tell your parents, it's a lie. Come and tell me. You've already gotten that from them, from no matter what the teacher. That is the reason. How do rapists come in? How do those child molesters, how do they come in? Any child that's any home that is loved, they don't come in there. They're coming into a home that there is trouble. They will not come because they know that you have the open communication line with your children. You can tell them, they can communicate with you at every point in time. You do any little thing, you are ready in school. You come to confirm from the teacher, okay, what this happened. It's not all about work. Yes, work is good. At the same time, you are checking on your children from time to time. The teachers will be alert. They'll be aware that this is a no-go area. So what we need to do is we open the communication, let the children know don't touch from time to time. You have anything you are going to show them, let them see. Let them know every time. We notice that when our children are growing up, I love you, you peg them, you hug them. But once they are growing into teenager, we are not able to do that again. So they too, and by the time they even get to teenager, mood swing has come in. They don't even know the way they feel to do. They don't know how they feel. So it's when you are showing that love for them. That is when they will continue to talk to you, because they want to withdraw at one time, even when nothing is wrong, because of that teenager syndrome with them. So communication is the key. As long as we continue to communicate to our children, it will stop. You see children where a male teacher is actually molesting a male boy, 7-year-old. He has been sleeping with that boy from 7 years, when he was 7 years old. And because the boy was living with the stepmother, he couldn't tell anybody. And the teacher will, from time to time, be taking that boy to toilet, asking that boy, the boy start withdrawing. Nobody cares at home. The teachers too look at the loopholes, the molester, they look at the loopholes. Okay, can this one work for me? Can this one? But when they see a lot that this is you can't go here, they know they will not go there. and we teach them so that they don't go and learn those things they're supposed to learn at home. They don't go and learn it outside. Once they know, they know a lot at home. They don't want to go, and when they don't know, they'll come to you. It's not to their peers, they'll go and ask. Because when you go and ask your peer, there is a possibility of them misleading you. But if you are their first point of contact, they know that, okay, they need anything, they are feeling bad, they are coming to your parents. So there is no way. Once communication is open from childhood, we're already talking to them. You're already talking to them. They know. And you've already drawn the line. The values, even to the boys too, has already been drawn. Okay, in a school too, where the teachers too believe that you can outgrow bully. They already believe that, okay, when the bullies is happening, okay, you can outgrow it. You see how the grooming has started from. That is another orientation. They don't see anything wrong with it. But if you already love your children, you already communicate with them. Yes, nobody. When you start early, because if not so, it will be too late. Because by that time, when that thing is going on, they will not be able to trust you again. They'll start blaming themselves that they are the one. They become vulnerable to somebody to be used. They can go into drug. They will be doing negative outlook, they cannot, depression will set in. The thought of suicide too will come in. So many things. They will there'll be anger, they will blame themselves. They can lose control. There will be, fear of unknown, helplessness. They don't know what to do. But if you have loved them, we open communication gap for them. From no communication gap, we are ready to talk to them from childhood. I bet you that will not happen. And we are ready to listen to them, especially that critical age of teenage year, when they don't know what is wrong with them. They don't know, what am I, when they are trying to discover themselves. We are able to be there for them. Nobody will take advantage of them.
Thank you very much, and thank you much, everybody. Actually, we are meant to just spend 1 hour here, but I want to open up now. I can see 3 grandmas inside here. I don't know whether you're with your children. Grandma Betty, don't go, because you do a closing remark for us. Mrs. Ugoje, I can see you. So I'm opening up in case we have comments, anything we want to say. Like I said, thank you very much for joining here. For all the children that are at the back screen and we are hearing your voices and you're with your parents, please. I've seen. So please, just know that this discussion is not just for the others, it's actually for you. Learn to speak up. So I'll go straight. Anybody has a comment or question or anything, you can open up your mic. I'm not seeing any hands up, but you can open your mic and talk before we call it a day. Mazi, I'm actually happy you joined us all the way from London. Mrs. Sarah, you need from Enugu State. Okay? Let me. And it even. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody for joining in here. I don't know if anybody wants to speak again, but Mrs. Eguna, Grandma Betty, I want you to open up your mic now and let's hear from you as a grandma, as a child advocate, as a marriage counselor, as a family coach.
Thank you so much, Nnenna. I must thank the organizers of this for a very great job you have done. The issue of rape has really become a worrisome problem for us now. Every day we hear somebody has been raped, somebody has been, is killed. So much so that a 2-year-old too is equally raped. I think the society is getting it all wrong. I don't know whether it is frustration. I don't know what I will call it. But for those who have spoken, the last speaker, we have to be very careful. We have to start with the neighbors, their brothers, their uncles, and all that, and the aunties. Because a lot of things are happening, and people have suddenly forgotten what extended family is all about. How can an uncle be absorbed? But we hear this happening every day in the chat. I said, when a child gets to adolescent age, you as the parent make that child friend. When you make that child your friend, you don't judge him or her, criticize or condemn her. You should not chastise her. Something we call fraternal correction. You think, but when you make the person your friend, no matter whatever he or she comes across outside, she will tell you when he or she gets home. So we have to make our children to be our friends. If you know what they like, the music they like, listen to the music together with them. Enjoy the music with them. When they are dancing, if you have the style dancing step, dance with them. It's all good. You are bringing yourself to their level. So they see you as somebody who understands them. So they are open to you. We need the grace of God anyway.
Exactly.
We need the grace of God to really, really, attack what is happening to our children, our sisters, our brothers, our nieces, our nephews, because equally the men are being raped, not only the women, but although the women own is more. So we need prayer. If time, stop being the very busy mom or very busy dad and create time for our children.
Wow. Thank you very much, Grandma Betty. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. I even saw
Have what we call family time. Do we even spend time? That is where we should discuss. Yeah. We raise issues that we think are serious issues. We ask them, how was their day? How was school today? How was the outing? They went out with their friends. How did it go? Who and who was there? You ask questions with a smile, with cheerfulness. They are not seeing you as you are attacking them. They are seeing you as you want to know. You want to know about their whereabouts, and you are very well, taking care of them. You want to know about how they are doing. Please, if you have not been doing that, have a family time. Even the men, the husband and the wife, when there's a family time, have a family time for just you and your spouse, and then the one together with the children. Because even we, the parents, sometimes we get it wrong. And then that is why our husbands, God forbid, we go and be raping somebody, because we are not giving them the attention that they need. Do you even ask your husband, or do you ask your wife how you are doing in the home, how you are faring? Are you meeting up to his expectation or her expectations? All these things we need to discuss. So we start from ourselves first, and then we can go down to our children. When we have a good rapport with our spouses, then the children will look and they will see. They'll see the openness between us.
Okay. I think the network
to talk to us about any impressed about this. And Nnenna and okay, I can hear, but I hope you heard me. I just want to say thank you so much.
I heard you very well. Thank you so much.
So much. Well done. Bravo. Thank you so much. Thank you for all those who have attended too. Thank you.
Yes, I want to thank them because they were all here on time. Just like you said, you mentioned in your comment, we as parents should make our children to be our friends, particularly when they become adolescents. When you establish that friendship, they will tell you everything. Very key. On a final, thank you everybody. On a final note, I want to call Mrs. Please, we want to hear from you, please. He's also a child advocate and a counselor. Mrs. Okere, please. Mrs. Okere. He will not listen to any of us. What's going on though? Okay. Grandma Ugoje, I just saw you come up now. Grandma Ugoje, you want to say something? Please, want to hear from you too.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All I just really want to say is that it's been a nice one, because I've been following all these abuses, and I feel pain in my heart, because I have grandchildren. At times I have to call my son's wife, and tell them about this. When I heard about this meeting, I'm very happy about all I have heard, and I say kudos to all those that have organized this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much. So one thing that I want us to leave here, like I said, we have children that have been listening. We have a session with them later. The one that we don't want parents to come, but our session with the children, just the children alone. But let's also know that for you being here, it means that you are committed to this cause. We cannot stop talking. We cannot stop raising our voices to be heard. That this thing has to stop. The advocacy should start now. So I would like to just, before we close, in the next 5 minutes we should be closing, but from our wonderful panelists that they're so passionate about this rape issue, this communication, this advocacy that rape has to stop, to just give us on a final note what the final words would be. I'll start with Tochi. Tochi, your final words to our wonderful participants that have been here even before 6:30. Tochi.
Thank you. I was actually raising my hand, but then since you didn't
Okay.
Why we are here advocating for, that's why we are pushing this cause, advocating for children to be protected, because within the school environment, most times I schooled in a boarding school, in an all-girls boarding school, and I know how it is, and how girls face abuse from teachers, especially when it comes to sexual abuse. Then I would say that we need to drive the campaign for child participation, because one of the principles of the Convention on the Right of the Children is that the voice of the children should be heard. So children should be encouraged to participate in whatever thing, or whatever decision that concerns them. For instance, like in Nepal, I just read that there is an organization over there that champions the cause for child participation. They go to schools, they form children clubs, where children nominate about nine heads who now represent them in school management system. So when the school wants to take any decision concerning the children, they send children from this, their children's clubs, send their own delegates to represent them. So there's participation is encouraged. So these are the things. That's why we are out here, driving this campaign to make, because when a child is abused and the child reports to the child club, the children's club, at least the issue can be taken up. Maybe anonymously, the issue will be brought up that this so teacher abused this person. And then the school management then goes ahead to take up that case and decides to maybe sanction the teacher who is involved if it's a case of rape, or maybe, try to discipline them. So, well, for us to achieve that, to help children, because they're dealing with their teachers, to help them, run away from abuse, or maybe to avoid being abused, we just need to encourage participation. We need to make the school management see that these children, there's need for them to have a voice. They are not just children, at least within the age of 10 to 17 years, that they are caught up in the secondary school, at least have come of age, at least to know what is good for them. We need to ask them how they feel about certain issues, about how they feel about certain decisions that we need to take, issues concerning them. So we need to bring in that child participation, make them see that through these various clauses, maybe we can even advocate, push for government to institutionalize these things. Make them see that when they complain to their club heads, that their issue will be taken up and their issue will be handled without them being further victimized. And then we also need to, campaign and make the school management to see that any parent, because these child perverts, some of them are teachers. They're in the school environment and they're perverts teaching, and they're just looking for the most available child to abuse. So we need to, take this campaign to schools, make children know their rights, that even if they do not report to school authority, they should go back home and report to their parents, because some of these children don't even know that when they report to their parents, we have Parent-Teachers Association. So these issues, when they report to their parents, their parents can throw it up in the Parent-Teachers Forum, and then these issues are trashed. So we need to make them know that they have a voice. We need to make them know their rights. We need to begin to go to school, campaign, and teach them what the their right is. We need to, make them to even understand articles in the convention that concerns them. Like they're in the Convention for the Right of the Children, there are about 6 articles that are particular about child protection. I know when we talk about child protection, we're just talking about protection from abuse, violence, neglect, and exploitation. All of these sexual offenses against children fall within this child protection. So we need to make them to understand those articles that talks about their protection. Let them know it, let them have it at the back of their mind. And then also make them understand that when they're violated, they can report, children can report to the United Nations directly. They can report to the committees on this child rights in the United Nations. So we need to make them understand their powers, what they can do. They can report through civil societies, they can take their report to the United Nations, and then these issues are properly handled. So let's just not make them feel like it's a normal thing to be abused, it's a normal thing, you just have to keep quiet, you just have to grow with it, and then they're mute. This culture of silence needs to be stopped. We need to stop, we need to make them understand that when they speak up, that the fear of retribution will be quashed. So those are things, and that's why we're out here advocating for children to know their rights, creating awareness, telling parents what they should know about children. So some of these parents don't even know about the child rights. Most parents do not even know. Some parents are not even educated, and your child just mingle with them. So that is why, as much as we are advocating for parents to be aware, we need to take this campaign individually to schools, to churches. We need to know, we need to push this. Because your child comes in contact with them, maybe they get to the higher institutions and are mixing with people who come from a background where they have never thought about those things. So, but then if your child knows about this, at least they can speak up. Even in their various schools, in the universities, they can form groups. They can form student groups that talks about all this abuse and protection and all that. So we need to make them, and the only way they can do this is to to have the background, the foundation, to have this passion from when they are very, very young.
Thank you very much about that, and I agree with you. And I'm also saying that this meeting is not just the toxic; it's about let's start that advocacy. And we've dealt about the parents, so now about the child. I think that everybody that is in here, if you've ever had a friend or a relation that owns a school, take it a point of duty. You can, anywhere you are, you can find out those that have the capability or those that are passionate about this. Let's start that advocacy of going to school to talk to school owners, to talk to these children, to see how we can form those clubs and encourage them to speak up and encourage them to know their rights and encourage them to know how to go about when such things happen, or even the preventive measures, especially even the young, the teenagers, because sometimes, like we said, those things start from, even when they are teenagers, they are young, they start, feeling, they have that sense of feeling that I can do it. So let's intensify, it should be the word, our efforts. I know that we're all passionate about that, but let's intensify our efforts in trying to take a step further to start the one from the home and then move to the school, so that one day, to an extent, I'll be happy to say, at least I did my own part. What about you? Let's join hands together and see how we can make that work. So, Mrs. Oreki, I think you're back now. Want to hear your closing remarks from us. Ms. Okere, please. You can open up your mic now. Okay, so. Okay, so Tayo.
All right. My closing remark will continue to be communications, like the grandma spoke, that we should, Grandma Egun and Grandma Betty, we should love our children. We should show them love. We should show affection. We should. Okay, that is what we should continue to do.
Can you hear me?
Is she here now?
Yes, Mr. Okay, sorry, wait. Yes, you can go on, ma.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, I can hear you, ma.
Yeah, okay. Now, I really want to thank the host of this webinar. It's been very, very enlightening and very instructive. I also thank all the participants from all across the world. This is kind, and it is my hope that this will continue. It won't be the last.
I think her network is bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think our network is bad. We can't hear you, Mr. Okay. Okay. Okay, we can hear her. Thank you very much. If you can also put it on the chat, we'll take. But what I can also say is that, I mean, the next 1 hour, we'll send the recordings of this evening discussion to everybody. I hope it should be out in the next 1 hour or less, so that you can also send it to your group, to people that you want to hear. Just let's begin to start that advocacy. It's time to speak up. It's time to get people to understand that rape is a no-go area. The effect is, you can't even quantify the effect. It's degrading, it's inhuman, it's a torture. The psychological torture is just too much. It's unbearing, and it's not what living should even associate or even say, okay, I should discuss this. I want to be associated with anybody that is a rapist. Me personally, I don't want, and I pray that I don't even want to see such a thing around me. So on that note, I would want to, sorry, you still want to say something before we close? Okay, so we can't hear you. You unmuted yourself. Mute yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'll continue to say no is no, and say no to rape. And to our teenage boys, we should tell them that punishment for rape is life imprisonment. So we should let them know now, so that it's not what they are going to do and get away with. So anybody that goes to life imprisonment the life of that person has already gone bad. Even if it's 14 years, it's already gone bad. So, and because offense of rape is very difficult to prove, for that person to be convicted of that offense, it means that the person has actually done that. Please, all our boys should be careful, and we should continue to communicate to our children and show them love from time to time. When they have a mood swing, they should let them know. It's not we don't hate them, but we hate that bad behavior that they have. That is it. Thank you.
And finally, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Communication. We cannot stop communication. And for our children that are outside there, whether you're listening to us now or you still hear about it, please, we will reach out to you. Learn to say no to rape if you're a guy. Learn to also shout and teach your younger ones, your juniors, the people around you, that rape is a no-go area. And by the time the club comes to your school, also try and see how you can be a part of it, okay? So you just share the screen on, if you're in Lagos State, if you ever get raped in Lagos, or someone told you that you're raped, please call these numbers. We will also try to send it to all the email addresses that registered here. And if you get it, also try and share. I'm seeing somebody from Enugu that I think you should also take it to your government too, please. I know you're a major stakeholder there. Let's see how we can also start that awareness there, please. Meet from Port Harcourt, I also saw you. So thank you very much, everybody, and do have a good evening. Enjoy your evening and have a very blessed week, fulfilled week. Say no to rape. Rape is a no-go area. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Sade, thanks for coming. Mama
Thank
Ugoje,
you,
thank you.
everybody. Thank you so
Beju,
much.
thank you for coming.